So I got the 300 parked right here. Right now I'm at Roadstar Auto Sales, and I'm gonna look at this 2011 Chrysler 300C and gonna just show and see how far the Chrysler has come from 2011 all the way up to 2018. The body's still familiar on this one. It's actually my first time looking at the vehicle as well. And forgive me for all the roar noise, it's actually on the side. The key looks exactly like the key for the 2018, actually the current Chrysler key fob. So kind of shows it's kind of outdated. And the engine is not on, but I do want to just go over the interior. So without further ado, let me just hop in and I'm just gonna shut the door. I can tell you right now, the seats in here are more comfortable, weirdly, than the 300 I'm in right now. So in here right now, I can see that the door switches are still the same. The door handle's still the same. It's still got the same feel opening and closing it. You still got the memory seats down right here as well. Your headlights switches are still the same. Only that's pretty much different is obviously the gauge cluster. Get to that second. The screen, the position, all that's still the same, and the climate control's in the same position. The first off, what's different is the steering wheel. It feels like it's bigger, wider, and these controls. If you look at these, look familiar. You remember that that Jeep Liberty video that I had? So this is still from that era. You know, those push buttons on the steering wheel. The gauge cluster is the same format. You still have your stuff in the middle, and you have your normal tachometer on the left, speedometer on the right. Now, obviously the vehicle is not on. I should have kept the keys, but I did not want to waste this lady's time. I'm pretty sure the screen looks similar, but slightly outdated. The climate control function has a different function as well. You still got the basic AC and all that stuff. The gear selector down here is different. So it's the old fashioned, just put your foot on the brake and then plug into gear. You can change your gears down here at the bottom as well. So co-posts are the same, and this little same. This is like the seat trim level as well. So this is the exact same in 2018. The positions of auxiliary ports are different. You still have a 12-volt outlet, but it's all in a different location now. And this does still have the panoramic roof for 2011. And all this looks the exact same as in 2018. 2018 is pretty much the same, 2019. And I have yet to see a 2020, but everything's in here is the same. Got the Alpine sound system, and that's it. I'm gonna pop the hood. The first generation looked nice. They did this front lift, which I dislike a lot, but to each his own. And this was actually equipped with the 5.7 Hemi. I'll get some more about the Hemi in a second when I finish the other review versus mine with the 3.6. And off into the back, you do have your heated seats in the back as well. I got the shade button down here and a 12-volt socket back here. So everything in the rear is still the same. Still the same car essentially, just like a facelift. And over time, Chrysler has slowly but surely updated the car. So thank you, Roadstar Auto Sales, for letting me just do a little quick walk around this Chrysler 300. Omar here from my point of view, and today I am going to give my point of view of this 2018 Chrysler 300. I'm not for sure if this is actually the Touring package. I'm probably gonna go through the glove compartment here in a second. You do have other trim levels, the Touring and the Touring L. This is probably the Limited, because the Limited comes off with the chrome mirrors and then these 20-inch wheels, which I get to in a second. The only thing in the back right now, it just says 300. If it's 300C or 300S, it'll just notify it on the back. Just looking at the exterior of this thing, man, this thing is actually just, I want there's like a classic front engine rear-wheel drive V8 luxury sedan. There's actually the V6 underneath the hood, which I'll also get to in a second as well. So like I stated before, you got these 20-inch wheels. These are polished aluminum 20-inch wheels on some Firestone tires. Got your nice little chrome right here. I usually am not a fan of chrome, but every little chrome feature on this car just seems to suit the car properly. This is not over chrome. It doesn't have too much chrome. This is a little chrome right here as well, and also the little chrome tip on the exhaust. It's not overdone with the chrome on this vehicle. So let's step inside real quick. So like we saw in the 2011 Chrysler, all the door panels are pretty much the same. The door handle, the seat memory, the window switches, pretty much still the same from 2011, which I've just learned today. I did actually take a 300S before, but never this 300 trim level. And so I can pretty much see everything is very similar from the 2011 trim level as well. So what's different? So obviously the steering wheel is different. The sitting in the car. You still have your same little headlight switches down over here. The gauge cluster is different as well. So as you can see, it's a slightly larger infotainment center. Pretty much everything's still the same setup. The climate options, everything's here is the same. You have a different gear selector down over here. So this is actual knob. It's not an actual just the handle anymore. With my flashlight on, look underneath here. You still have 2 USBs and auxiliary and the 12-volt outlet down here, but it was in a different position. I'll get some more of the infotainment inside this vehicle. Also got a nice little clock up here. I don't recall seeing that on the other one. Probably just missed it. So with that panoramic roof, actually, sad to say, I do have leg room, but I really do have to squat down here, man. This panoramic roof is eating up this headroom, as you would imagine. Yeah, I can't even sit up properly. I had to go like this, and then still, yeah, this is a no-go. So if you're, I would say, taller than 6'3", honestly, you don't need to be 6'5". Usually I just cut off at 6'5", but 6'3" and above, yeah, it's gonna be cramped back here. But you do also have the heated seats and 2 USBs back here. You can lift this up, you get a little storage compartment over here, but you also have your 2 cup holders for your 2 passengers back here. All right, so now it's time for me to pop the hood. Now this showed you the 2011 Chrysler 300s, but that was equipped with the 5.7. You can still get the 5.7 and the 300, but right now what I have is the 3.6 V6. If that looks familiar, then yes, that's very similar, yes, similar to the V6 that was in the Charger GT. But this is actually tuned slightly different. I don't know the details about it, but I know that the horsepower and torque figures are completely different. So this V6 actually produces 292 brake horsepower, 260 foot-pounds of torque. Now the Dodge Charger GT that I just reviewed, that will have 300 brake horsepower and 264 foot-pounds of torque. And yes, you can get that V6 and the 300, normally in the S. I'm not for sure about the Touring. It sounds different when you're taking off at a low speed, and especially when you start off just a little bit. The engine kind of holds onto the revs just a little bit longer than it's supposed to. I put my foot on the gas and then watch the RPMs to still hold up. Yeah, my foot's way from the gas. The engine doesn't idle down quickly enough, which is not a big deal, but something I kind of noticed. So as you can see, I'm actually now recording on a GoPro. I'm not for sure what type of GoPro it is. I think it's a white 7 or something like that. Anyways, I just sadly probably had to retire that Nokia 1020. The audio quality is very poor, and I really do apologize about it. And it's something internal. I can't do anything about it. After December 2019, no more updates to it, so there's no point of even bothering about it. And actually going back to the mirrors, the chrome mirrors, they're actually heated as well. And you got your blind spot monitoring, the same as it was on the Charger. All right, I'm gonna close this vent off real quick. If you still got the old-fashioned foot brake down here, and we're gonna take it for a quick little spin. All right, so taking off in the 2018 Chrysler 300. This is not the S trim level, 8 horsepower less. There is a slight difference in the engine. Sounds the same to the Charger GT, just a little bit. So when you put your foot down on it just a tad bit, yeah, you don't hear the engine as loud and more pronounced as it is in the GT. There's a lot more body roll in this car. It turns in, but it drives like an old, yeah, I would say like a 2011 type of car. No type of sportiness in this whatsoever. So you do need to get the 300S or the Charger GT if that's more of your liking. The seats are fair. You can get them heated and ventilated, but it offers absolutely no support. So if you're gonna do around the bends at kind of high speeds, I wish there was more side supports in these seats than they are currently. These seats, I will say, are just very basic, entry-level, luxury type of seats. The visibility is actually not so bad for a full-size sedan. The ride, the comfort, going over bumps is actually pretty comfortable. Very comfortable, I must say. I have no complaints on the ride quality. It soaks up the bumps very well. And yes, if you had to overtake or do what you have to do to get in front of someone, then the engine will get up and go. It will try to hustle without no complaints. The 8-speed automatic gearbox, it pairs up this engine pretty well, I must say as well. There is slight wind noise, but nothing too dramatic. I will have to say, the best thing about this car is this ride. Actually, I'm really impressed with this Chrysler 300. Yeah, it's not sporty. I wish I had more supportive seats, but that's not what this car is actually aimed for. I do love the design of it. I love every bit of chrome on this thing. Once again, I'm not a chrome person, but the chrome wheels with the headlights, with the grille, with the badge and the Chrysler emblem on the front of it, this thing is actually just gorgeous. And the side mirrors as well. It's not overdone. The little chrome trim over here, it's not overdone whatsoever. I like it. I like it a lot. I know the Chrysler 300 does not have the pedigree of the Lincoln Town Car, which is, you know, the Ford Crown Victoria. I know it hasn't been around that long, but this is what I kind of would imagine how it would have evolved into, at least. It can also, just like as you've seen, get a 5.7 liter V8. It's not like a huge, you know, 500 horsepower V8. It's a very nice tuned Hemi V8, 363 brake horsepower, or at least that's how much you could get in this generation Chrysler 300. I have the keys in my pockets. Press the little button right here to lock it. Now obviously, just put your hand behind the door handle and it unlocks. So it's still, even though it's an old car, it still can do some new tricks, this platform. All right, so my time with the Chrysler 300, like I stated before, it's not in comparison between a BMW 5 Series. It's more for the Chevrolet Impala, Nissan Maxima. I haven't driven both the Nissan Maxima and Impala. Here's my point of view of the 300. The Impala and the Maxima are both front-wheel drive V6, and the Impala optional 4-cylinder engine. This one we can still get a V6 and a V8, so it's the only one currently in this class with a V8 option. I wish I had more leg room in the rear seats, but all this is pretty much just a more refreshed version of the 2011, like you just saw earlier. There is a huge difference in power, even though it may not seem like a lot. 8 horsepower does make a difference between this normal V6 with 292 brake horsepower versus the 300 you get in a 300S or a Charger GT. But overall, I love the styling of this 300. It's very comfortable, it's very smooth. That's the key. That's one of its best features, how comfortable it is over the bumps. It soaks up the bumps well. But I wish there was more support in the seats. I mean, we're also in desperate need of a new Charger and 300s, but I'm kind of scared for the fate of the 300. I'm not for sure if it'll still be around much longer. Sales, I mean, pretty sure are low, and no one's really buying luxury sedans like that anymore. But my point of view, it's not, don't hop in this car and expect to drive it like a 5 Series. And just like the Charger, I respect it. Thank you so much for watching my video.